from Earth Easy, and today we're going to be assembling a elevated cedar planter. So the first thing you're going to do is get all your parts out, measure them all, lay them out by size, make sure you have everything according to your instructions and your parts count. Once you have everything organized, make sure you get the correct tools for the job. So we recommend having a rubber mallet, which will help tap in dowels and bring pieces together. We recommend having a power driver or a hand driver if you don't have a power driver. Some wood glue is useful for putting the dowels in and securing them a bit better. And you should have all the screws provided as well as the dowels provided for the job. So once everything's organized, we're good to get started. For step one, we're going to be attaching the leg blocks to the leg corners and the sides. So I'll just hold it like so with my hand, make sure it's nice and flush, hold it tight, and then just screw these guys in. And I'm using a number 2 Phillips bit, and I'm also setting my driver so that it's not too strong so it doesn't damage the cedar when you're screwing it in, because it's really a soft wood. And then we've got these 2 side leg blocks. And this one will go like this here. So for step 2, we're going to place the beams on top of the leg blocks. We've already set it up here. When you are putting the beams on the leg blocks, I find it's helpful to do the ends first, the corners here, so you just hold them flush, put a couple screws in here, and then do this middle part last, because this is a little bit trickier. You have to center it, get it nice and flush, and once you're happy, you just put a screw in here and a screw in here. So okay, so it's pretty good. And then we'll do the corner on this. So step 3 is assembling the first layer of boards and the metal cross beams. So we'll just put the nicest side facing out. Put this end piece in first with the notches facing up, and then I'll take one of these side boards and I'll pick the nicest side and I will put it here with the notches facing up here, metal crossbar, and put it down top of the notches, notched in here. There we go, so that's now nice and in there. And then I'll do this side board next. And if it's tight at all, you can always just plonk it in. And then we'll do this last end piece here. Try to get it lining up as best we can. And then once you're happy with that, you can start putting your pins in. Do a corner here. So a couple tips with this first layer of sideboards is getting them to notch together can sometimes be a little bit tricky. That's where the mallet is helpful. So if you're finding that they're just not going down perfectly, you can just give it a nice tap in the corners. This is a nice time to just double check that your legs are nice and vertical. I can just turn that leg and I made it nice and square to the planter. Once you're happy that all the legs are square with the sideboards, then we can put the screws in, 2 screws per sideboard. So for step 4, we're putting the bottom slats in the planter. Now there are 2 that are marked with letters on the ends. These are the end slats, and they have pilot holes in them as well. So what we'll do is we'll put one on the end down here, and one on the end down here. And then we have a number of bottom slats that don't have any pilot holes drilled in them, and then the ones that have the pilot holes drilled, we're going to space them out. So we'll put one here, another one next to it, And then we'll put one here in the middle and another one in the middle over here. And now we can take the bottom slats that don't have any pilot holes drilled and just space them out inside. So now that we've laid all the bottom slats out, we're going to screw the ones in that have pilot holes drilled. So for step 5, we're going to assemble the remaining sideboards. So we'll take inboard first, put over the pin. You can just grab these pins and kind of feed them into the holes, then use your mallet to tap it down from the middle. We'll put our crossbar on here. You can always just grab those pins again and just pull them out if they're tight. One trick for getting these last sideboards in, the pin is going to be a little bit tricky to get on. So what you can do is you can put your fingers in this spot here and pull that pin towards you so that it fits into the hole. And then once you've got both pins in, then you can use your mallet to just tap it down. And there you go. So now that we've got all the sideboards in place and the cross beams in place, we'll go ahead and screw in the remaining sideboards with 2 screws per corner and side. So what we're going to do now is put the trim kit on the top rail here. You'll want to put the dowels into various holes on the rail, and it helps to have a little bit of wood glue to dip the dowels in so that it just secures everything a little bit better. And then the mallet is helpful for tapping in any of the dowels that are harder to get in. And once you've got all the dowels set up, you can kind of lay it out on top of your board. So now that we've got all the dowels in on the top rail here, we can pull it together nice and tight on both sides and here, so that we take all the gaps out. And once you're happy with how it's centered and overhung on the sides, then you just screw down the tops. And now we're done. That is it. We've finished assembling the elevated cedar planter. So these planters with the legs that are higher off the ground are great for growing lighter herbs and vegetables, basil, rosemary, thyme, or even lettuce. So we definitely recommend using a lighter potting soil. You don't need to put any gravel or anything in there. The slats have these nice slots in them to let the water drain out. So you can put whatever you don't want to bend over as much to harvest, and enjoy your planter.